Okay, so you've been working on your coil weaving and hopefully you've been building your walls. Once again, I do not have a long bundle, and so I'm going to, you can see that I've not gotten as far along as probably you have. But that's okay, and I'm just gonna keep going. I really want to show you how to get to this end part. I have a feeling that some of you have been really working and you're going to need to know how to finish. Also, once again, if you've run out of the cotton bundle and your piece isn't large enough, then you'll need to go by the library and have them cut some more. You're just basically going to either duct tape or masking tape the two ends together, and then you can continue coiling. Five, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10. By now, hopefully you've gotten your rhythm down. You've gotten down where to connect. You've gotten down to connect to the nearest coil. Your pattern is established. And I decided to go 3 and then 3. Maybe you decided to weave a random pattern, which is fine, or just having one color pattern, then randomly inserting as you go. And you can start to see that as you're going the 10 and then attaching 2, you pretty much visually can tell when you're going to be attaching. You can tell, even if you're not counting, about how close you are. When I'm doing a large piece, like one of my baskets that I've shown, I don't cut the cotton bundle. So if you've gone to True Value and you've purchased the clothesline or something similar to that, then maybe you're keeping that all together in a coil. And that's how you're going to get maybe the width and the depth that you're looking for. Okay, so I've already run out of my aqua, and I'm not fully around to finish that pattern of 3, so I'm going to pull a little bit more. Get my needle ready because I'll need to attach before I know it. Continuing with just laying this down. Starting my new piece right where I left off. I am wrapping over that end to secure it. And I am already ready to attach. Pulling all the way through so you don't have loops of the string hanging down when you're finished. And once you find your rhythm, once you find how to hold your coil, how to hold your needle and your yarn all at once, you really do get in a rhythmic pattern and you can go pretty fast. I've actually started a piece with rope, and that's probably been my hardest bundle to work with. I'm going to show you in a few moments when we get this finished how to make your own bundle with some recycled materials that you probably have in and around your house. Stop and check myself every once in a while, making sure I don't have any white spaces. There are so many different designs for coil weaving. There's an artist that I follow on Instagram and on Pinterest, and she creates flat coils and then she attaches the flat coils to create larger pieces that are wall hangings. They're very interesting and beautiful. So really, you're starting with the basket, but there's so many different things that you could use these weavings for. Trivets, wall hangings, little catch-alls. And if you have a white space when you're wrapping, just stop for a moment and fix it. Just move your fibers over where you want them to be. We're getting really close to not only the end of my bundle, but the end of my three pattern of color. And so since I am about to be finished with this cut of string again, I'm going to go ahead and move on, lay that flat. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a natural fiber so that you can kind of see what that looks like whenever I'm working with it, and the difference in the texture and the difference in the way that it works. It still goes through this steel metal needle pretty easily if you twist the ends. And this is a much more rough texture to it. It's not going to be as easy on the fingers. Okay, it's the same thing, it's just a slightly thicker fiber that you're going to be using, but it's the same concept. You can see that it is separating a little bit more than what our yarn was doing. So I have about 3, and so this is going to make 4 and 5. And straight away you can see how much more bulky it is. Than the red and the aqua. Still attaching to the closest coil. And still pulling out to attach. You're still going to want to attach 2 times, even though it is a thicker fiber. And now you're just going to go back to get some extra. This thicker twine, this is a type of twine, is actually taking up more space. It's going to go faster because it's not as thin and delicate as the red and the aqua that we were using. So you're going to find that you're filling your areas at a quicker pace. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you start something like this natural twine and you're looking at it, you're working with it, and you just don't like it, you don't like the color combination, you don't like the change in textures, then just take your needle off and unwind it, unravel it. Six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Maybe it's not giving you the desired look you were going for. maybe it's disrupting the visual pattern that you were wanting to create. It's just totally up to you and what you're interested in. I did want to show you, I don't know if I would have started this right at this moment on this piece. I might have finished the top, which I'm getting close to doing anyway, but maybe I would have finished the piece with that. If you are not adding to your bundle, if you're not going to the library and getting more, and you're going to make a small piece like this, then you're getting near the end like I am. This is the time where you kind of think about the extra things. If you drew the handle to add handles to your piece, then this is the time to think on your final coiling around. This is when you decide, oh, okay, well, I need to get my handle ready here and then again on this other side. So I've just coiled normally, and then I would continue coiling this bundle, but instead of bringing it close to the already finished coil on the basket, I would pop it out. And so I would not attach it until I get back over to this side. So I would attach it right here. Even if I hadn't gone 10 wraps, I would attach, and then I would continue coiling, and then I would attach it again to this bottom coil whenever I got to the desired amount for my handle. You do need to make sure that you have enough to continue your weaving if you're trying to finish and to get over here. If I were to make a handle here, I can see that I would not have enough. Well, it would be very close. It'd be very close for me to be able to create a handle right there. So just make sure that you have plenty of bundle. Maybe this is not the time to try the handle. Maybe you want to try that whenever you do your next coil weaving, or maybe if you purchase the clothesline at True Value, you can purchase the coil bundles. Sometimes you can find them at arts and crafts stores in bigger cities. I order from art catalogs and websites if you're interested in getting something like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're going to bring our piece up to this point. I could continue around and get a little further, but I think that I want to blend this bundle into this color here as I go. So I'm getting very close. I can already see that I'm going to need a little more of the twine. So I'm going to get that ready. Move it over to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there so I have plenty of twine to lay down. Nine, 10. Whoops. If you're not going to go back and get more to continue your weaving, then you're going to have about a coil weaving this size if you chose to build the walls up. It is a small piece, but it's fun. It's colorful, and it's just been a good learning experience. Thinking about colors and patterns and how you want to use them together to create something beautiful to use or just to look at. I'm going to stop right here for just a moment because I'm going to cut my bundle at an angle. I am going to do this so that when I am ending, then it's going to kind of blend into the part that I've already finished. Get that ready. I also, because it moves around on me sometimes, just like we started at the beginning with just a touch or a dot or two of hot glue, I'm going to have my hot glue there just to make sure that everything is covered, nothing is slipping as I'm working with it. You definitely need to get, if you're a student, get permission for using the hot glue gun. You might want to ask for help. Definitely don't want anyone to get burned trying to finish their piece. If this is decorative and you're just going to have it maybe hanging on your wall, or maybe it's on your side table and you put spare change in it, maybe you want to add some things like some decorative beads. You could tie some beads on. You could add maybe some fringe or some pom-poms. You might not need anything extra. And that's fine too. So close. I like that I'm ending with this, whoops, let me try that again. I like that I'm ending with the twine because it does cover so well. And as I'm finishing, it's going to be easier for me to cover the bundle that I'm ending. So I like that. I'm not having to worry about the white cotton bundle showing through. And near the end, you may need to attach a little bit more. I am going to attach again here where the colors blend in together, and then I will probably attach here and then on down here. So we're just going to make sure that it is really secure. We don't want our piece to come undone, especially if we're using it in daily life. If you're putting your keys in it, if you're putting whatever you might put, you know, you don't want it to unravel. So make sure you're attaching and getting it good and secure at the very end. Whoops. I'm also it's getting really tight to be able to coil. I might be able to get just a few more. And if it moves on you, just move it to where you want it to be. And this is where I'm going to start using just a few of my dots of hot glue just so that I can make sure that nothing is moving on me as I'm finishing. You may be at this point and you may not need those dots of glue, which is okay as well. Pulling that coil down, getting it close to the coil underneath that I'm attaching to. And I've got that little piece right there. I don't think it's going to be seen, but I'm just going to make sure. That kind of thing may not bother you, so. I'm just going to go over that a couple of times, and you can't even see it because it's part of the coil underneath. So now to finish, what do I do with this extra? I'm going to come on the outside because typically people are going to be looking at your coil weaving, looking down into it. So they're not going to be looking at the underside as much. So I'm going to come to this outer side with my twine and using my needle, I'm just going to come up through one of the attachments that I did earlier, and I'm just going to make a basic knot. You could take some time to maybe bring it back through. You could do that on the outside if you'd rather finish your piece off like that. If you didn't want that abrupt stop with the knot, then you would just take your needle, and you're not doing anything with your wrapping, you're actually using your needle to come back through your attachments. So if you didn't want to do the knot like that, then you could bring it back this way. And you could even hide it somewhat. And then you're just going to clip, and you have your coil weaving. Looking back at mine, I might have drawn out my bundle a little bit more, maybe made a longer diagonal cut, but this is what we have today.